a toy. When it comes to paintball, do kids know the difference? Here's Monique Braxton.
The troop movements are underway.
This is a rapid deployment force you see here.
The battles will soon begin.
Here we go.
But for this group of weekend warriors, the rules of engagement are a little different.
If your partner next to you dies and gets shot, you can't take his gun and go running down the field shooting 2 guns at a time, right? None of that.
These are not reservists in the military, but instead people who have made reservations to play paintball in the Poconos, war games in the woods at Skirmish USA, the oldest and largest paintball operation in the country, with 30,000 customers each year. On this day, I was one of them.
Paint goes in here, comes down through here like this.
Skirmish owner Paul Fogel takes a philosophical approach to the game.
Man has physically changed his environment faster than we have physiologically developed, and there's a need for kind of a hunter-gatherer or that tribal outlet that's still in us somewhere, and this game satisfies that.
We took a walk inside and we took their village from them.
In the beginning, Fogel says survivalists were a big part of the business, but lately they've been replaced by bachelor parties and church groups, teenage birthday parties, and corporate team-building retreats.
One of the first things you learn playing this game is that you can't be a Rambo. You have to, if you want to win, you have to work with your teammates. You have to communicate with them, you have to share strategy with them, and you need to work as a unit. And that is how you win this game.
We view that it's a great way to let some steam off, have some fun, and come out and just get a little crazy.
Greg Peers with his co-workers from DoubleClick.com. They're the group I joined.
Guys, listen up. You gotta pair up with 2 other people and move in teams of 3.
This is just another team building exercise.
One person leads up, scare position, and the back person moves up once it's clear.
Two teams, one objective, to capture the opponent's flag. If you get hit, in the words of the game, you're dead, out of the competition.
I must commend you. I seen you guys crawling and running and hopping. Who grabbed the flag?
Good, clean fun to most, a way of life for others.
We are going to get our country back.
Meet Sergeant Bob Patton, 67 years old, retired Marine Corps, paintball codename Mad Dog.
Fire base duty is Bridge City.
He's taking part in a 24-hour scenario game modeled after Kevin Costner's post-apocalyptic movie flop, The Postman.
For years, we've been gathering food to rebuild the nation.
Patton may be acting his part for the game, but he is serious about what it all represents to him.
A society of duties and responsibility for missions. Isn't that what life is about? Working together to accomplish a common goal. And it's probably the only place, the only sport that we have is where we put everything together of duty, discipline, responsibilities, meeting common goals and following orders.
If they push you, head back to the castle.
But where Patton views the military nature of the game as an attribute, others see a problem. While the paintball players are ducking shots, the industry is dodging criticism that this may contribute to the violence in today's society.
Look at all these students. This is just dozens and dozens of students that are fleeing for safety.
In the wake of the shooting at Columbine High School, which left 14 students and 1 teacher dead, great effort was made to identify the causes of the tragedy and others like it. Hollywood violence and what some call excessively brutal video games were both publicly scrutinized. But paintball did not escape the debate. In Waterloo, Iowa, the city council was recently asked to amend its firearms regulations to accommodate a local paintball operation.
To allow this so-called sport to be active in our city, I have a real problem with that.
Scott Jordan is the city councilman in Waterloo who led the charge against the law change. A father of 5, Jordan worries that paintball desensitizes young children to the realities of violence.
I would never teach my child to shoot somebody with a gun, be in a you know, slingshot or, you know, whatever the case, a BB gun.
What I think it does more than promote war is it teaches some of these young kids that Rambos and John Wayne's, whatever your age group is or something like that, you don't always win.
It's just too much like real live combat.
This is a recreational sport. This is not reality.
And it's a family recreation for Fogel and his 12-year-old son. What do you say to your son after you see a shooting on the news? Have you explained to him the difference between the playing of the game, the sport, and the reality of shooting and firing guns?
There's certainly a reason to discuss with him the shootings in schools and how they're wrong and how it's certainly not the proper thing to do if that's put in pretty mild, and how you know, talk about the family unit and that kind of stuff. But paintball doesn't enter that discussion. That's not, you know, softball or football doesn't enter that discussion.
And most of the players we spoke with agreed.
Kids, I think, really know the difference between what is real and what is not real.
I know this is a game, and then when I put this gun down, then that means that game's over.
Some of the kids today, maybe they got into playing paintball, they keep them off the streets.
But at least one of my teammates from Double Click acknowledges the debate.
I can see on both sides. For us, like, we're all adults, we're just having a little fun. We're not trying to make it more out of it than what it actually is, just a little game.
Back in Iowa, Scott Jordan lost his battle by a narrow 4-3 vote.
Once you have this in the city, I think it's going to grow and grow, and it's going to be misused by so-called children or whoever.
And there have been paintball assaults and acts of vandalism that have occurred away from the playing field, some even resulting in blindness and hearing loss.
That house, shoot it!
But at skirmish,
nice job, though.
Fogel points out headgear is mandatory and everybody is briefed on how to operate their gun.
You're starting to swing around the backside for skirmish.
And on this day, as the combat progressed, one veteran of the Korean conflict and the Vietnam War saw lessons being learned.
The battles are aggressive. You'll see some of the new folks, the younger set, I'm talking about the teens, that are joining in and learning discipline. They're understanding chain of command. They're understanding that winning on this is not how many rounds you've had, it's how you use your mind, your body, and marksmanship together.
We're moving in over there!
It's a nice time today as a sport. It's a fun recreation, but you don't want to go out and play this for real. You don't want to be shooting real bullets at each other.